All right, this is Oz here with Mega Metal Magazine and Myles Kennedy of Alter Bridge. Hope you're doing great,
Hey,
Myles.
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll get started here. I know you guys are just returning from the European leg of the tour. How'd that go for you guys?
It was outstanding. It was just a real cool experience. We started off in London at the Royal Albert Hall and played with the symphony, and it was really cool. Something we'll never forget. So the rest of the tour was great as well. But it's good to be back home.
I bet it is. So played with a symphony, huh? How'd that turn out? Did you guys a little something different for y'all, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely something we never attempted, and it was a bit of there was a little bit of a expectation there for a number of reasons. It's just the Royal Albert Halls is it carries a lot of weight. Getting to play that venue in the first place, but also adding into the equation that we'd never performed these songs with a symphony before was certainly a new thing for us, but somehow everybody landed on their feet, and we were real thrilled with the outcome.
Excellent. I've actually heard it said a few times that Alter Bridge is a stadium act in Europe and a larger venue band here in the States. Can you tell us why that is?
Well, I don't know if we're a stadium act, not at this point anyways, but we're definitely in a fair amount of markets for an arena act. And I think, that's a good question. We've never really understood why from the genesis of this band, when we went overseas, there was a connection initially that we had to wait for here in the States. It eventually came a few records in for us here, but because of the amount of time that it took to kind of get things rolling in the U.S., we had already kind of crossed certain thresholds in the UK in particular, and certain parts of Europe, where now we've graduated into these larger venues there for whatever reason. So there's just a lot of rock fans over there, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I know the scene there seems to be a little bit stronger than the stateside here in the last few years, and did the American festivals that you guys hit the last year or two even keep up with the European festivals at all?
Well, I got to say they're growing, and which is really exciting, I think, for all rock bands based out of the U.S. to see. I think it gives us a lot of hope, and I personally, the handful of promoters that have believed in rock and roll to the point where they were willing to kind of put a lot on the line and grow and start these festivals and grow these festivals. And now we're seeing, the fruits of their labor. It's really exciting. I mean, it's not to the point where like a download festival is in the UK, where you've got, 100,000 people showing up, but they're tens of thousands of people, some of them which are like, you got to Rock on the Range, which I think is like, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around 30,000 people show up to that, which is, that's big. That's really great for a U.S. festival. So it's exciting.
I actually attended the Kansas City Rock Fest here last June, and they had almost 42,000 attend.
That's outstanding. That's we're moving in the right direction.
It is good to see those numbers coming up like that.
Definitely.
You guys are going on 14 years now with Alter Bridge, and I've seen you guys so many times. You're one of my favorite bands to see live, just because of the energy and the output that you guys tend to give the crowd. And
thank you.
And with that said, has time flown by for you guys?
Yeah, it really has. When you say 14 years, it kind of messes with my head a little bit, because it seems like it was just yesterday that I flew down to Florida for the first time and started jamming with those guys. So. Yeah, it's crazy. Time is, I guess there's something to be said about time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, definitely. But has the writing process changed over the years at all?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, when I first started playing with those guys, I wasn't playing guitar on the first record, and I basically was just singing, which was a new thing for me, because I'd always been a guitar player. But by the time we moved on to the next record, on to Blackbird, then I started playing guitar, and Mark and I, it was more of a collaboration from a writing standpoint. And, we've really settled into a groove that as time has gone on, I feel like we've kind of found our chemistry, and it works. So, it's been a cool evolution to see.
Yeah, definitely. And Mark sure has came a long way in his guitar playing. I've always been a fan of Mark
Absolutely.
too, and his lead playing is just phenomenal now. Or you can really, between the albums, you can really see where he's progressed through the years. And
Absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I really think you've had a lot of influence on that too.
Well, I think that I think we both kind of influenced each other in some way or another. I know that, we spent so much time together and there's a certain mutual respect, which has been very healthy. And, I've certainly learned a lot from him, as far as how he approaches things and kind of his method to how he does things, which has been great for me. And there are things he's pulled from me as well, which has been cool. We've kind of found a meeting ground, which has been, I think, beneficial for the band overall.
Excellent. And I have to say, again, you're one of my favorite singers of all time. Your range is
Oh
just
man,
incredible.
thanks.
And
Thank you, bud.
how do you continually keep that voice in great condition, being that you guys are on the road so much?
Well, I think some of it's just trying to do the best I can to take care of it and not abuse it. Some of it is just, I was really lucky to have studied early on with a guy who, and I remember he promised me when I learned this technique, he's like, as you get older, instead of your voice getting weaker, you'll find your voice will actually evolve in certain respects. And as a kid in my late 20s, I was like, oh man, I hope he's right. Because rock singers in particular, they curse a lot of times, especially if you're a higher singer and use your upper part of your ranges, that can sometimes kind of disappear as the years go on. So fortunately, knock on wood, it's still working, and I'm really grateful to the technique that I learned early on to help to maintain that.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that you're taking good care of it. It really takes more of a healthy living style than most people think it does out on the road. A lot of people think it's all partying and having a good time, when it's a pretty strict regimen of living right, to keep everything going.
Absolutely.
So I know it's been a little while since Last Heroes came out now, and you guys have been touring hard on that. You don't see very many bands touring as hard as you guys do anymore, and I think it's awesome that you guys just keep going and can stay out there so long. And tell us about The Last Hero and where that came from.
Yeah, so it's hard to believe that record came out we've been touring on that record, feels like, for about a year and a half, which is pretty crazy to think. But yeah, the record, we put it together early last year, early 2016, and it was kind of our assessment of where things were in the world. Maybe took on a little bit more of a social nature than, social political nature than any of our previous records. I think a lot of that's just because we were in the middle of a campaign season, election cycle, and so that kind of made its way into some of the content. But with that said, we did our best to make it so that it wasn't like we were picking sides. We were just kind of trying to manifest the general climate of what people were thinking and feeling, and keep it somewhat universal. So, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to see how that's all played out.
And it's been interesting also that the album has actually followed of current times. It's
more so than we thought. To be honest with you, I thought come November last year that the lyrically this album wouldn't resonate at all. It would be done at that point. And it's actually kind of been, I think, the heat's been turned up a little bit. Obviously, these are very interesting times.
Yes, it is, definitely. How long are you guys going to be out supporting before you guys take a break?
I think this will probably be the last run for this album cycle, this U.S. run. So, 18 months is about what we'd planned, and this will, come middle of December. That'll be, pretty much check that box. So, then we'll kind of go into hiding for the next year as Alter Bridge and start creating more tunes and then get back out there probably in 19.
I hear you. Have you guys been writing a lot of new songs on tour?
You know what? We haven't been. I've been writing, as I always am. Mark's been writing. I know he's been working on Tremonti stuff, and I've been, wrote and recorded my solo record earlier this year. So I think Mark and I have been focused on those two things as far as writers. But next year, in fact, probably within the next few days, I'll probably start chipping away slowly at writing some more A/B material, just because I don't want to put it off to the last minute.
Right.
So always want to be fishing, so to speak, seeing what you can catch.
Sure. Speaking of that solo album, when's that expected to be out?
And probably we're looking to try and get it out sometime next year. That's the goal. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been real busy anyway, even though you're on the road.
Yeah, it's music. It's what I love. So as long as I can keep singing and keep playing, I'm gonna create as much as I can.
Anything special going on with the Conspirators right now?
No, nothing at the moment. Everybody's just staying busy in their various projects. I know Brent's been, obviously Slash is out with GNR, and that's been amazing. And I think Brent's out with Gene Simmons, and I think last I heard, Todd was actually working on some new music of his own, and
wow.
And everybody's staying busy.
Excellent. Is there a huge writing process difference between Alter Bridge and Slash and the Conspirators?
Yeah, it's with Alter Bridge, Mark and I tend to get together and when we're putting the music together, it's kind of like musical parts that we marry, and like, hey man, do you have a riff that goes with this chorus, or do you have a verse that goes with this bridge and chorus deal? Whereas with Slash, he tends to come up with these great musical ideas and chord progressions and riffs and whatnot, and then I put the melody and lyric over the top of it. So it's almost like I have a canvas to work with.
Excellent.
So it's a little different.
And does that make it a little easier for you with Slash, or?
It's different. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, because if the music is already there, like if I hear a melody working a certain way and the chord goes major versus minor, then sometimes it's like you have to rethink how you're going to approach that melody. But with that said, Slash is very open and to changing things if need be. He's not precious with his ideas. He's very, very flexible. So if I really hear something needing to go somewhere melodically, he's totally cool with changing it, which is great.
Excellent. Do you what are few of your favorite songs that you like to perform live?
In that band, or
yes.
with Alter Bridge? With that. Sorry?
Either one, actually. I'd like to hear both, yeah.
Well, I think with Alter Bridge, Blackbird's always going to be a favorite. I think that was a real pivotal moment for us as a band, and it certainly carries a lot of weight with a lot of the fans. Probably most of the tattoos we've seen where fans will put something on their body showing their love for the music we do tend to revolve around that Blackbird imagery.
Sure.
With Slash, what song I really love is Standing in the Sun. There's something about that.
I love that song.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah, there's something about it that just makes me feel good the minute Slash starts playing that intro, and the way that it kind of evolves into the chorus. Just something about it I really, really gravitate towards.
Yeah, the build up in that song is just amazing, and you get to the center bridge of it, and you're just like, where can it go from here? And you brace into the solo, and you're like, oh, okay, it can go that much higher.
Right. Yeah, I love that song.
Do you? I noticed that you and Mark both pretty much play PRS guitars on stage. Do you both have endorsements with them?
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, they're a great company that makes very consistent instruments, and on top of that, they're like family, and we've been with them for so long. They're very very important part of the equation with Alter Bridge. Absolutely, very, very grateful to them.
Excellent. I own two PRS guitars myself, and next to my Les Pauls, they're right there in line.
Yeah.
Which my ones do you have? I have one that's a Bird's Eye Maple. I think it's a 730.
Cool.
And of course, my Gibson Les Pauls are classics, and I've got a 92 and an 03 that are just my go-to guitars, but playing
Right.
live, you play on stage too long with a Les Paul and they'll end up breaking your shoulder, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the truth.
But, so tell us your main influences right now.
Main influences right now. Man, that's a good question. I tend to be kind of schizophrenic is the word I use, where I kind of jump around a lot and you know, I'm always surprisingly my go-to record when I get off the road is Steely Dan's Asia record. I listen to that record at least once a week.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, I just think that's a brilliantly put together record. But you know, Miles Davis, that's another big one. John Coltrane, as a guitar player, you know, I love Mississippi John Hurt. I love his the fingerstyle stuff he does. But as far as rock goes, I'm a diehard Zeppelin fan. That will always be a place in my heart for all those records.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like a lot of different things. I kind of listen to various genres and artists that help kind of inform me as a musician.
Definitely. You gotta keep the range open to just about everything, I think, of good music
Absolutely.
and keep an open ear. And I always tend to find something new every time I listen to it, whether it's been 20 years listening to it or just a few weeks.
Right. I agree.
Well, I sure appreciate your time today, Myles, and I won't keep you much longer. And well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you. I'll be down to the Tulsa show in December to see you guys, and I'll be photographing that for the magazine. And
awesome.
I sure look forward to seeing you guys again. I think I've seen you guys 3 or 4 times in the last 2 years. So
right on, man. Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate hearing that. That means a lot.
And I sure appreciate you taking the time to answer the questions for us today. And like I said, I hope to be seeing you guys real soon.
Sounds good, brother. You take care.
All right, man. You too. And again, it's really good to talk to you, Myles.
Great to talk with you as well, Michael. You take care.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.